In Unit 8, Section 5, we're going to talk about three different types of what we call variation: direct, joint, and inverse variation. There are some general forms of the equations that are on your blue reference sheet, and I'm going to write them here in your notes. So let's actually make this, we'll put these up on the top here. Okay, so first we're going to do direct. So direct variation. The general form of the equation is y equals kx. Okay. The inverse variation, we'll do inverse next. General equation is x times y is equal to k. And joint variation involves three variables. It's y equals k, x, z. Okay, so key thing is direct variation really is proportional, is what that means. So just think of proportion. Inverse variation is inversely proportional, and joint variation involves the third variable. So that's kind of things to keep in mind. Now, in the first section, or the first part of the section here, if we look right here, we're just identifying which they are. Now, a couple things that I didn't add up there. K is always called the constant of variation, and it's going to be a number here. So when we have the constant of variation, that's K, and it will be some number. Okay? And they're not always going to use y and x or yx and z if it's joint variation. You just got to recognize the form for being able to get it there. So let's look at number 1 first of all. 1, notice, has three variables. You got a, b, and c, so that should tell you something. This is kind of the form y equals k, kxz. So in this case, k is equal to 5. That's the form it's in, so that is joint variation. And then the constant of variation would be the number. So 5 is, I'll call it the C of V, meaning constant of variation. Some people call it the variation constant. Let's go over to 5. So if I focus in over here on 5, we've got VZ equals negative 25. So I have a variable times a variable is equal to a constant. So this is my K. And notice that's kind of this form of x, y equals K. So that is inverse variation. And the constant of variation, or K, is negative 25. Okay, then let's go over to, or down to number 9. If we go down to number 9, notice I have a over 4 equals b. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little multiplying here. I'm going to multiply by 4 on both sides. So I really have a equals 4b. We're going to put the 4 in front. It's just a different form, so I don't have the fraction form on this side. Now notice that is a variable equals some number or some constant times another variable. And that's what we have here, and that is direct. So this is your K. So this is like y equals kx. So this is direct variation. And the variation constant K is 4.